And we are live. Welcome to the Renegade podcast. I'm your host, A Dashing Rogue, and the madman did it. He did it, guys. He got into the White House without a hitch. Not a there. And now, well, we shall see, won't we? There be dragons. Whether it be good or bad, I don't know. But I'll tell you this, there was a vibe shift. People talk about the vibe shift that happened. I can remember exactly when it happened. It was like right when I heard that he won. And it was confirmed. And I felt like it felt like in Battlefield 4 when you get hit, when they're about to crash the tower in the Siege of Shanghai. It's like that big boom right underneath your feet. That like the ground quake kind of feeling. That's what it felt like, the vibe shift. Except it didn't happen. They didn't feel anything. There wasn't physically anything there to feel. So, yeah. That was fun. And what's going to be some very interesting coming up here soon. Let's see what we got here. Wait for a few more people to join in for a second. For those who want to know, that was Praise the Lord and Pass the Ammunition. A great song. I remember this. SJW actually taught me about this song. He thought it was an insult, and I'm like, I guess, maybe. I mean, it's World War II. A bunch of fucking, gangsters and Jew boys are fighting fucking Krauts who think that they're supermen. So what the hell? We know, right? Let's see. All right, let's, here we go. We'll talk a little bit about this. Let's see. This was fun. Yep, out with the old and with the new. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Out. Go home, Joe. No one wants you. You were a mistake, geriatric motherfucker. Yeah, so that was fun. And for those of you who want to know where we are in our storyline right now, I am still moving my way out of the how should we say it, the solar system. So that's kind of fun. All right, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so we're going to talk about Elon a little bit later on. But one of the things I've been keeping an eye on ever since, that whole Undead Chronic, which I, by the way, subscribe to Undead Chronic. He's a really great guy. I like him. Because of the whole Six Hexen Hammer Galadriel phenomenon, I encountered this fucking creature here. Amazo. Miss Amazo. Now, don't fuck with this person.
Hi, I'm Morgan, and today I'm going to be talking Elon Musk, autism representation, and the thing that happened.
Spurg solidarity. Honestly, Spurg solidarity makes sense from a political perspective to a certain degree. Like when it comes to violation of civil rights and shit like that, that makes sense because there is some abuse going on, in the system. I gotta be a little bit quiet because I have neighbors and shit like that, right? And honestly, there is some level of need for it, but even then, it's more like human rights. Everything that you could say that would be autistic rights or autistic representation should just be human representation because they're part of the human experience. They're not fucking aliens, despite the fact that we're in outer space.
So, first of all, Elon Musk is on the autism spectrum. He came out as having Asperger's syndrome on Saturday Night Live, and this is a big deal to me. This was a major big deal to me. Because, in case you don't know, I have the exact same diagnosis as Elon Musk.
Oh, really? So do I. Awesome.
I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome in childhood. We are both on the autism spectrum.
ADD and bipolar, but who's counting?
And there was honestly not a lot of representation in the media when I was growing up of autistic people.
Because nobody thought about it. Because nobody, the moment you think you're the other is the moment you start looking for the familiar. And the problem here is that, you're not separate from the human experience. You're part of it. The big issue is when you start thinking that the manacles that were used to enslave you, essentially, are manacles of a king. That's when we start getting into an issue.
And I remember the old Autism Speaks commercial. It was like, I am autism. And essentially...
Was that actually a thing?
Conveying that autism causes bankruptcies. And...
What?
Essentially, that was the representation that I had in the media growing up. And so it was just amazing to see someone who was wealthy, openly autistic.
How does autism cause bankruptcies? Like, what, did they just, that they're funny with their money? Is that the idea? Is it because, like, autistic people need to have, like, medications and shit? Or allegedly, because, again, I say allegedly because I don't think they need it. I think they just need to be treated like normal human beings and they'll fucking fit in. They might be the weird kid, but other than that, I don't think this is a medical diagnosis. There's no need to pathologize it, in my humble opinion, right? I'd have to look into this a bit more because I actually thought this was just a joke. I don't know if it's like some sort of like bad commercial that just became a meme that people did for kind of just morphed into something else, but anyway, I'll look into it.
On TV. That was amazing. That was such a big deal to me. That was just like awe-inspiring. Like, I don't think I can adequately convey just how big of a deal that was to me. To see someone who is like openly has the same condition as me, and
oh, it's like it's being gay, but at the same time, I understand why they would think that, right? Because the one group of people, and this is, we're gonna get into the Melanie and Max situation here, because my stance on queers is the same stance I have on autistic people. They're just people. They're sinners, right? But at the same time, when you start making it into an identity, right? And the people who made it about identity the most were the fucking homos. Unironically. They were the ones who pushed back against the mental health system. And they got liberated. But the big issue here, and this is the one that a lot of people miss the point. It's not that the gays got out and everyone else got away or stayed stuck. It's the fact that how they got out. They basically proved that the mental health system is a fucking joke in America. It really is.
It kind of is like the counterpoint to the old Autism Speaks commercial, because it's like he is wealthy. Like, he's someone who is successful on TV with the same condition as me. Like, that was a big deal. That was a big deal.
Well, I always liked Goku. I was a big fan of Goku. And I'm trying to think of other characters that were fictional, but also at the same time, John Wick is a perfect example of this. You said John Wick? Yeah, John Wick is an example of someone who's autistically coded if you really want to get down to it. How so? Well, because, what do they say in the first movie? He's a man of instinct, sheer will, and he once killed a guy with a pencil. I mean, I've seen some ass-be fuckers shake a people with a fucking pencil. I've seen that happen, okay? It happens. But then he hunts down the fucking Russian mafia because they killed his dog and stole his car. That takes dedication that only an Aspie assassin could bring.
And so I very much so do see Elon Musk as autism representation in the media, which is not always for the better, because in case you don't know, at the inauguration,
she's stroking her hair.
He did a gesture that is widely associated with Mussolini and Hitler.
Mussolini and Hitler. Uh-oh.
So yeah, I do want to talk about a couple of different possibilities as to why this could be the case.
Well, I have a few. It's going to be the new Space Force salute. It's going to be for the Galactic Federation or the Galactic Empire or whatever, whichever you prefer.
The first possibility is he did it knowingly, and I think that Elon Musk is intelligent. He probably understands enough history to know what people associate that gesture with. Uh-oh.
Oh no, Amazo, you pissed... Dr. Ivo pissed off Amazo. Oh no! And this is why identity politics kills everything. I mean, again, she identifies as autistic. And, you know, in the same way, it's very similar to identifying as being a Dalit. Because it's not just an identity that you choose. Well, she basically owns her chains, right? She really does think that the chains that she has are like a crown. It's not. Well, for those who want to know the context of what's going on, let's see if I can find it here. I believe this is it. Give me 1 second. I want to give you guys exactly what we're talking about. Here we go. This was today, you know, the old Chinese proverb, right? May you live in interesting times. Fucking A. Sieg Heil. Fucking... I honestly don't know what the hell's going to happen after this. I do think that Trump's going to have to distance himself, because if Vic Ramaswamy, which, by the way, apparently he's backed down from his position, right? And it's almost like James Lindsay keeps fucking getting it right, that these woke right people are going to fall, everything's going to fall apart. And I personally think James is a fucking a con artist at this point. I do believe the man is protecting people very, very closely. He's playing his cards very well. But I could see him playing his cards, because I have hand disruption, James. I know Magic the Gathering better than anybody else. I'm a fucking world champ. I could probably beat Elon even. Actually, does Elon... I'm going to have to ask him. Does he fucking play Magic the Gathering? Because I'll tell you this. I think she probably does.
The second possibility is... Okay, see what I just did there? Where I accidentally, I'm just, counting off on my fingers absentmindedly, and I stuck my middle finger out. That is something that sometimes autistic people just do. How do I put this? At least me, as a neurodiverse person, I talk with my hands a lot. I just do, gestures absentmindedly. They're not even...
That's not autistic. There are people who do that to help them enunciate themselves. That's not autistic. I mean, my God. How fucking enslaved are you?
Always conscious gestures. I just express myself a lot of times with, hand movements, arm movements.
Scooby, 1961, I believe it is, the weightlifting guy, the guy from Fit, right, on 4chan, he does the same thing. You say he's autistic. He's not autistic. No. It's just how people do it. You've been given a false sense of insecurity. I mean, in fact, dare I say you have learned helplessness even.
Stuff like that. That is just something that I do as an autistic person. And
you do it as a person.
I think there is a possibility that Elon Musk could have been doing it in that context, where it's he is, if you watch, a longer part of his speech, he does do a lot of, gestures and arm movements, posture stuff, and it's that's just how a lot of autistic people communicate, so it is possible that... It's not,
it really isn't. It's just humans. That's how humans communicate. Some people have to enunciate with their freaking hands, and it's not that uncommon.
Could have been that. But that's the thing. Either, it could, I interpret it as something where it could be either or in this case. It could very well be that he was referencing Mussolini and Hitler. In which case... Spaghettio and Cabbage Patch Kraut, man. The super kraut. This is what representation is coming to. Why? It's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating because
let me put this in a way she understands, okay? I've known a lot of half-elves that are fucking evil pieces of shit. I know a lot of elves that are pieces of shit. People need to understand this. They want to simultaneously have they'll think about representation like this, right? You have these dark elves. Now, everyone says they're fucking evil and shit, right? I think they're beautiful. I think some of them are graceful, and I think some of them are really nice folk. But there are certain personalities, and certain certain individual dark elves, and certain other but statistically speaking, people, they have ideas about it. But here's the thing: people take them as they come. There's always going to be bigotry. Why would you ever want representation with something that's so shallow as being, your skin tone or autism? It's like saying no, there are no gnomes that are evil, right? There are no dark elves that are evil. All dark elves are evil, or all dark elves are good. It's just it's black and white thinking. It's just wrong.
I want there to be better representation than this in the media. Like, I want better autistic representation. I want better autism representation. Like,
why don't you go be the representation?
I guess I still consider this better than the I Am Autism commercial, but it's like autism representation in the media. Oh, it's Elon Musk doing the gesture that is widely associated with Hitler and Mussolini at an inauguration. Like,
well, you want Spurg solidarity and fairness. As individuals, we are weak, but together, put together, we're the mighty faggot, the mighty stick, the little fasci, right? So you want to have your cake and eat it too. Perhaps he's gonna establish the empire on Mars just for his Queen of the Martians, Miss Amazo, Queen of the Martians.
Great, this is our representation. What the fuck? It's frustrating. It's really, really freaking frustrating.
I know, it's like we can't have nice things because, I mean, the dark elves are making the light elves look bad, and all elves are the same. We need to have that elven representation.
Frustrating. I want there to be better representation. Please, be better representation. Like, I guess technically by making a video as an autistic person on the internet, like, I am a forum of my own representation, but
No, well, only because you made your such, so.
Want more autistic representation in general. Better representation than Elon Musk, please.
Why? Like, if you want to date someone who's autistic, because you want to, like, breed true, like, fucking, like, was it Malcolm and Simone? I think their names are from the based camp. They're talking about breeding autism true. No joke. Like, there's actually that. Maybe she wants that. I don't know if that's the case. But either way, like, it's not like a fucking race. It really isn't. You're literally saying, "Hey, I don't like the fact that my profession is being tarnished." That would actually affect you as a collective. Like, let's say, all cable men are sleazy. That makes sense. But here, this doesn't affect you. No one would have known unless you decided to wear the label.
And I also kind of want to talk about how I don't like when people criticize Elon Musk for things that are autism related, or like being awkward socially, or just being weird on social media, because you have to understand, some of the time that is going to be due to neurodiversity related reasons. And so when people are, whether intentionally or unintentionally, making fun of someone for something autism related, that sends the message that bigotry is somehow okay.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It really fucking doesn't.
And it's hurtful to other autistic people who do.
It may very well be, but they have to stop identifying as such. They have to be free of that invisible prison.
Not share the same views as Elon Musk. And so I really don't like when people are mean to Elon Musk based off of anything that could be autism related. But I still think, like, it's important to criticize him for things like who he's associating with, some of his actions and positions on issues and stuff like that. Like, we should be criticizing. Like, those are things that we should be criticizing. But I think it's important not to accidentally make fun of people for anything that's, like, related to relatable characteristic.
Oh, you madhouse nigga. What the hell? Are you really at the point where, like, again, she wants to have that label. She really wants to have that identity because maybe that's all she has, right? And I'm thinking to myself, no, this is no. Asgard is a Asgard is not a fucking people. Jesus Christ, it's a brand. It's a marketing gimmick.
Is how it's not okay to misgender criminals because it's hurtful to other LGBTQIA+ people in your life. Like, it's mean to misgender people because it's hurtful to other trans people, and you don't want to send the message that misgendering is somehow okay, because misgendering is not okay. And so in the same vein, making fun of someone for something that's autism related is just, it's not okay, and you shouldn't do that.
I disagree with your premise.
See, I wanted to talk. I wanted to talk because this.
All right,
this
talk.
is a big deal, and oh my, like, how do I put this? Like, I'm not in a very bubbly. Like, I'm not in a very bubbly mood today. I'm very.
I actually think you're very bubbly. I think I actually think you're simmering at this point.
The future of the U.S. in general, because how do I put this? I think we need to understand that things can always get worse.
Words of fucking wisdom.
And, like, the future has the possibility of being very, very not great for a lot of people. I'm very concerned about, for instance, the future of, like, immigrants, of trans people, of many women, of, also, just, like, the disabled community and the neurodiverse community. So, yeah. Yeah. I'm just, and, like, honestly, any minority in America right now, like, I'm just a little bit worried about our futures, So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. Stay safe, y'all.
Nah, stay strapped. Stay strapped. Like, if you really do feel like, oh my god, we're in fascist Italy now, because Elon decides to do the fucking Space Marine salute, right? Stay strapped. Stay strapped. And again, she won't ever pick up the gun because I'm autistic. I can't be responsible. Well, then you're just a slave, and maybe you're like Aristotle's natural slave, if you will. I mean, you're already basically a bitch for fucking Big Pharma, or at least they try to make you your bitch. I don't know. That's up to you, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if you're scared of fascism, fucking get a gun. It's the same thing I tell, a lot of, I have a few friends that are Jewish, right? They talk about fighting fascism. I'm sorry, I have cotton mouth. I'm sorry. Fucking desert. Fucking gotta do. But what I was gonna say is that if you're frightened of fascism, get a gun. I know Jews that will bitch about, oh, I'm scared of Donald Trump, he's a Hitler. And actually, again, I know some liberal Jews and some conservative Jews, what have you, right? And the ones that, no matter what they say, every single one of them says, we're not going to get a gun. We're not going to get a gun. The only ones that get a gun are the young kids who actually are like, yeah, you know what? We don't want to come to that, but hey, if it does get to that, you have to be able to take care of yourself. If you legitimately are frightened of fascism, learn how to use a weapon. I was scared that they were going to cut my fucking balls off in California or put me through, mandatory gender reassignment shit. And again, the state has a history. That state does have a history of eugenics. Hate to be the guy who says it. I mean, even Tara Warwick, right? He even talks about that shit. Let's see, what else we got here? Besides the Space Force salute, which, by the way, we're going to meme this to hell and back. You just fucking wait. I think we'll see this in fucking March. We'll be seeing this in March, motherfucker. By the way, if he dies and goes with Harambe, this is how we're going to remember him. So let's keep going. Alrighty. So, not all is well besides the God Emperor's return. There's also something else that we brought back with us. Something from the warp. I think I might be, besides Amazo, we're also dealing with, we're dealing with Lex Luthor as president.
Trump just launched a meme coin. Welcome back to the Void. This is not how I wanted to start my 2025. Let me tell you that right now. Here's the tweet. My new Donald Trump official meme is here. It's time to celebrate everything we stand for. Winning. Join my very special Trump community. Get your Trump now. Go to gettrumpmemes.com. When you go there, you join the Trump meme, which is buying something. and hoping it goes up in value. Currently, that stands at a $13 billion market cap, because nothing matters, which is great. I think that's cool. I think that's awesome.
Yep. And for those of you who need to know, Bookie928 did the same fucking thing. He made a meme coin and he sold his audience. They all pumped it in and he got a cut, and then the meme went down because it had no monetary value. It literally has no value. There's no stake in anything. The Bitcoin has its scarcity, right? And then you have certain other coins that are actually linked to something else, right? Whether it be, how much time and energy was put into it, right? How much, let's say, I'm trying to think of, what was it? Like there was a Bitcoin for walking or whatever the hell it was, right? There's something linked to something. What is Trump's stuff linked to, right? So this is a real legitimate scam. This is like the art of the steal type of shit from like Lex Luthor. Okay.
In addition, $12 million has been made in fees already just on the trading volume, which is over $1 billion so far. And I think that's even better. I'm joking. I don't even know. I'm speechless, actually. I don't know what to say. It's historic in its stupidity. It's historic in its grift. The level of scam here to use the days before your presidency, your inauguration, to use that as a hype project for the meme. Like, did this guy want to do the presidency the second time, or was this?
It's the art of the sneal. It's the art of the sneal, dude. It's the art of the sneal.
The meme coin hype plan. We're 2 days away. Okay, understand. We are 2 days away from an inauguration. I mean, should he be writing a speech? He's launching a meme coin. Okay, that's the start of it. That's the start of the grift. Then you have to understand that the Trump meme coin, which has no value, no intrinsic value, 80% is owned by the Trump camp.
Yep, that means they could release anytime they want. That means they could just flood the fucking meme coin out there. And he did a follow-up on this. This is some shady, like, art of the sneal type of shit. Here, let me show you. Let's see if we can get to it. Here you go. He did a follow-up on this, and I want to give you guys a bit of updates.
Today, today we had the launch of Melania token. It's barely been 24 hours since Trump launched, and already, baby, we're back with another meme coin from the First Lady. What can I say? I spent years of my life trying to tell people to do the right thing. Don't take advantage of your followers. Don't scam people. Don't grift. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere in life. You're not going to get to the highest office of the land. That's crazy. And, if you do it too much, law enforcement might come after you. Now,
Like honestly, I'm wondering, did Vic Ramaswamy do this? Is that why he's not there? Is it because of the H-1B visa and he started to get pissy and he started, trying to weaponize the fucking meme coin? Honestly, this is scary shit. This is something you can criticize Trump for. This is something that is a fair argument to be had.
The guy doing it appoints the law enforcement. So I don't even know what am I doing here. I don't have a good answer for that. The funny thing is, when Melania Coin launched and Donald Trump retweeted it, basically proving that it was real, because everyone, like myself included, thought it was fake.
The art of the sneal is a very powerful deal. It's a very powerful deal for the person who's going to do the sneal.
Trump coin then crashed like 40-50%, because everyone was trying to jump in Melania Coin. Yeah, just wait until Xi Jinping coin comes out. What is the whole market gonna crash then too? It's so stupid. These meme coins obviously have no value except to redistribute wealth from poor, regular people to insiders, rich people, early people, snipers, developers, the infrastructure that makes all this happen. You are just being used as a piggy bank. It's not a community. It's all a game to get your money in. They tell you you're going to get rich. They tell you you're not going to be the last idiot to buy, and then they sell from under you.
It's fucking Lex Luthor behavior.
I don't even know what to say, because even with how, like,
the art of the fucking Sneal,
transparent, like, one coin is already kind of bad. You start another coin 2 days later or 1 day later. Like, how is this supposed to be a serious thing? And yet, Melania coin is worth a full diluted value of about $7 to $8 billion right now. So,
fucking
doesn't mean anything.
Stop with the fucking up. I don't know why it does this. Fucking Firefox. Fuck you. But honestly, like, I don't know if he doesn't know what he's doing or if this is fucking blatant money laundering at this point. Like, if you ever wanted to get pumped and dumped, like, if the Russians or the Chinese were going to pay someone off, this is how they do it. Oh, there's no monetary value. Okay. Why is their money being pushed into it? Like they would track this shit. They would fucking track it. But they're not going to track it. They're not going to track it because, you know, why would you? Oh, that's conspiracy shit, right? We have some gaslighting about this. Do not let this shit go away, guys. Hold this motherfucker accountable or hold the team accountable, because for all I know, Trump's name is being fucking, you know, abused. You know? Like, they're just going to run his fucking name through the mud. And it very well could be that he enables them. I'm not saying it is because, you know, again, he literally is acting like Lex Luthor. He has the alibi of being the fucking CEO, right? You got to ask, how much about this does he know about and how much of this is actually just bullshit, you know, but his campaign staff or even Vic Ramaswamy? Because let's say he does throw Vic Ramaswamy under the bus because everyone doesn't like him. People are kind of pissed off at Elon. This could very well just be the thing that he throws at Elon, saying, fuck you, Elon, you did this. And he'll throw Elon under the bus, and you know, everyone hates Elon, so, haha. We'll keep an eye on this along with the Tenet Media thing. Speaking of Tenet Media, let's take a look into this. Give me 1 second. Let's get this up. Good old Tenet Media, where are you? Where is it? Here we go. Sorry if there's a little bit of dead air. My apologies. There we go. Art of the Sneal. Yeah. Fucking A. That is. This has more fucking. This is more realistic than what you'll encounter in the world than any other part of the stuff that you'll see. She's a Russian agent, quite literally. They fucking do blame the Jews. There's a reason why they blame Trotsky and they idealize Stalin. And this bitch is a Eurasianist, and this is Eurasian, so not related. God damn it, stop fucking getting in my face, CoffeeZilla.
I do think people have the attitude right now that they don't actually care, that everyone kind of knows this is a grift, this is not, like, going to be around in 4 years, there's nothing of value here. They just all think someone dumber than them is going to come along. But eventually the dumbest person will have arrived. Someone might be watching right now, right?
No.
The smarter of you probably didn't even know this coin existed.
I didn't know. I didn't know until I heard that Trump made a coin, and now I'm hearing there's a second coin. Now I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on? Does he want to go to jail? Like, what the fuck? This is blatant fucking theft. The art of the Sneal shit.
The reality is, like, there can only be so many people who are in line thinking, oh, the next guy's going to buy it higher from me. Not to mention, Melania's coin also unlocks sooner than Trump's did. Like, so they don't even pretend like it's even as serious of a project. It's, like, even more of a grift. Unlike Trump's, which locked for 3 to 12 months, this one locks for 30 days and then only for 13 months. So it's just so obvious. Like, does anybody see this? I don't know. It's wild.
Watch. He'll try to sell it like he got rid of inflation this way. You watch. I swear. No, he might not, but the fucking MAGA people, the people who are like legitimately like, we're just MAGA, and they'll excuse all sorts of type of behavior. You will see those people excuse it that way. Oh, he got rid of inflation display.
And because all the crypto people have aligned themselves sort of like with like Trump, because they thought he was going to be the next Satoshi Nakamoto, create the Bitcoin strategic reserve. Instead,
I don't think they were going to make him be the next Satoshi Nakamoto. He was going to be, the people were probably going to make him be the next, what the hell's his name? The Japanese Prime Minister. Oh, what the hell's his name? Not Saba. What the hell's his name? Fuck. Japanese Prime Minister. I can't remember. He died. He was assassinated, and he's been protecting Trump, right? Him and Harambe. Japanese Prime Minister. Fuck was his name? Prior. Shinzo Abe. Yeah. Was it Shinzo Abe? I think it was Shinzo Abe. Precursor. No. Is it Shinzo Abe? Shinzo. Yes, it was Shinzo Abe. My apologies.
And he turned out to be Hawk to a girl, and like pivoting on that is hard because he also not only appoints the law enforcement, he also appoints the regulators of crypto. So you've got Coinbase, Binance, Kraken tripping over themselves to list this token, which is going to wreck a lot of people. I mean, I know we love to make fun of Hawk to a girl, but if you actually think about it, Trump's coin is going to hurt way more people. It's
like, again, I don't know who fucking did this. Like, who signed off on this? Because it will make Trump look bad. It will absolutely make him look bad. And again, we can't say no. We can't say, hey, let's just let this slide. We can't let that happen.
A coin that stacked 4-1 against you, where the guy against you is the president of the United States. I don't know what to say. What are you going to do? Sue him if he takes your money? Like, at least you sued Hawk to a girl, or you sued the...
Sue him. Yeah, sue him. I would sue him. Yes, sue him in court. He is an individual. The individual has protections. Okay, well, sue him. Sue the people who made it. Do something. This fucking Lex Luthor shit needs to stop.
Guys behind it. How are you going to get your money back from this? Yeah, you're not. So, yeah, it's insane. The Melania coin also was registered a day before it launched, just further validating the idea that this is not a serious thing. I want to show you how insane this market is. I don't think many people...
You guys could go watch it and continue watching it. I would highly recommend CoffeeZilla, in this case Voidzilla as well. Because, again, this is fucking insane. No one else is talking about this. People will talk about the inauguration, but no one's talking about how people are being fucked by this. I mean, Boogie had Boogie Coin as well. He got busted. He got screwed. This is what happens. So, again, I would say buy your physical media. Have the real stuff. I think I'm gonna buy Johnny Quest next. I think I'm gonna, or Fresh Prince Family Matters or something like that, right? Have your physical media. Have your physical stuff. Don't buy this digital bullshit. Because from what I hear, the same people who push the Trump coins and crap like that, they are the same people who are pushing for the NFTs. So, you have to ask yourself how much of the Trump brand is being just dragged through the fucking mud because it's not producing any value, right? There's no connection. There's nothing you can get with this fucking coin. It's just, showing solidarity with the God Emperor, right? So where the fuck are we supposed to go with this? People are being screwed. I mean, you don't even have the ability to like hang the MAGA hat on the fucking mantle. Like, you say what you will about the MAGA hats, they at least are real. This isn't real. And people are getting scammed by this guy. Now, but I'll tell you what isn't a scam. besides, the medals of the Bible. Those are actually not scams. What other thing you could put into is futures. This is not financial advice. This is just somebody who, again, I've been keeping an eye on, and the Lord told me to invest, and I guess the fruit. I guess it bared good fruit.
So you're living in Sweden when you tell people that you converted to Christianity, and the reaction you get is, "No, God, please, no, 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 no!" Only time you're gonna see a Swedish person upset. Their son could get robbed, their daughter could get gang raped, their parents can die, and they'll just mutter, "Oh, how unfortunate." But then they hear that you turned Christian, and suddenly they will start to show a lot of emotion. Lots of it, which is pretty much the only time you're gonna see them show any emotion. I mean, they'll get angrier than if you refuse to recycle properly, which is the only time a Swedish person ever gets angry. Even my parents turned on me. They were like, "Son, we discovered something very frightening, and it caused us a great deal of concern. What could I possibly have done to you? I'm a law-abiding foreigner." Turns out they discovered it through Facebook. I have Facebook, by the way. You should probably follow me on there, since
I might very well do so, good sir. But again, this guy was like really down and out at one point, and he was bitching that he was giving good content and no one was giving him any money. So I gave him a lot of money through his, I think it was Stripe. It was some sort of Stripe or what the hell was it called? Not GoFundMe. It was one of those other ones. I gave him about $350 every month. It wasn't a lot because I was going through hard times myself, right? But I like to think that little bit of money I gave him, and I was giving it to him out of because the Lord told me to be charitable, and I decided to do it. I like to think this kind of helped him in a lot of ways, because at the same time, I think he's going to have the zeal of a good Christian. I think he's going to call a lot of the bullshit out. I think there's going to be a lot of that crap. And even then, what type of Christian is he going to be? Protestant, Catholic? We're going to be talking, Orthodox. Stay away from the Russian Orthodox, please. They're fucking, they're basically Eurasianist communists. Just saying. But yeah, that's a good investment. This is what we like to call futures in the soul winning business. But since that's futures, let's talk about dog whistles. Fucking James Lindsay, everyone's favorite Gnostic sex cultist. Speed it up a bit.
Hey there, everybody. James Lindsay here. You are listening to New Discourses Bullets, where I give you a short bullet point-like summary of a single topic relevant to woke Marxism that we all need to understand so we can stop this thing. And this is a heavy episode today. This one's
so we can
important.
stop this
thing.
So
get ready to kind of sit back and.
So we can stop this thing, guys. So we can stop this thing. And you believe it. You believe in James, right? So go clap your hands and help him out. We can stop this thing, guys.
Absorb this one, mull it over, chew on it, think about it, share it. This is one of the deeper ones. I thought about doing a longer podcast about this. I thought about, and maybe I still will, writing an essay about this. I think this is a very important idea. And we are at a very dangerous time. A lot of people think Trump just won the 2024 election. Everything's great. We're on cloud nine. We're happy. And unfortunately, we have a hard choice in front of us. A lot of people, and you can see this split. There's a fracture line in the kind of anti-woke coalition, and we could talk about that in and of itself a lot. The fracture line that they're
okay.
The coalition that Trump supporting, or even not even just Trump supporting, the anti-woke coalition. There's a
yeah,
and that fracture line is basically drawn between: do we love freedom, or are we going to assert a particular vision of virtue on our society to try to get this recovery? And this is
the real question: is do we want to have liberty, or do we not want to have, or do we want to have rules and consequences? That's what you should really ask. Liberty or rules and consequences?
The real choice. But it's deeper than that, too. It's not just which vision for the future do we want. Do we want to follow the path where we know who we are as Americans, if we're American, or if we're taking the American freedom model or liberty model as our standard? Do we want to follow that path, which means that we're going to have freedom, or do we want to take a different path, where that path is going to right the wrongs of the past several years or decades? Do we take some of both? Can we take some of both? These are hard questions. But the point here is that what we have is a situation where a very large portion of the population, maybe almost everyone who has been on this anti-woke side, a very large proportion of that population is really full of a lot of emotion. I don't mean like the elation or the jubilee or the happiness or the relief that Trump won. I mean, they're pissed. They're pissed off.
Oh,
they're
yeah.
afraid. for years. They've been persecuted in some cases, like
Yep.
J6 prisoners. For years, they have been, or seen their countrymen bullied. They've seen bullying, they've seen abuse, they've seen lawfare, they've seen lies and manipulation and propaganda.
They've been shot at. They've been fucking pissed on. They've had urine thrown at them, quite literally in this regard. You've had people, be stalked. We've actually had at one point Trump was shot at, for fuck's sake. He was shot at twice, right? There's a lot of reasons to want to go after these people. The problem here is who's going to get caught in the crossfire, right? That's a fair argument. But the thing that got me, and this is the real thing, that if you know, if you have the eyes to see, and I have the eyes of the bird is the owl, and the owl sees monocularly, James. It sees, Jimmy.
They never believed was possible. They saw a government shut down all of our lives and try to force us to take experimental shots. They saw a government browbeat us over everything to do with that, destroying our livelihoods in many cases, stealing our freedom.
Destroy the child. Corrupt them all.
Manipulate the circumstances of a highly contentious election. I mean, we could go down the laundry list of things people are frustrated about. No matter what we seem to say or do for the last 4 years, the Democrats did what they wanted. They did not care what the American people wanted. They pushed their agenda. And if you're not American, it's worse. If you're Canadian, Australian, New Zealander, British, and you're European, and you're looking out at what your countries are doing, it's worse. There are some exceptions here and there, and of course those...
Oh yeah, there are actual fucking fascist parties in fucking parts of the world. Oh, I agree with you. They legitimately are gonna fucking hang gays from the fucking cranes, I bet. Yeah, some parts of the world. The real question here is who's gonna be considered far right? Who's gonna simp for Bolsonaro? Who's gonna simp for, these fucking weird... who's gonna simp for that weird fucking Filipino fucker who is, killing people? The little fucking... a little Asian guy who's like, I don't care. I told him no.
Have caveats to them. I guess Argentina is something of an exception now. El Salvador is something of an exception now with an asterisk by it. Hungary is an exception now, again with an asterisk by it. This isn't the podcast for that, but it's a thing. But if you're in some other country, you're probably even more frustrated. We have a lot of pent-up negative emotion for a lot of very good reasons.
Oh yeah, I mean, fuck, the last 40 years, I'm literally not the same person. I've been in the wasteland practically. Like, I've escaped my vault and I'm in the wasteland now.
And a lot of people want not just accountability, but revenge. And this is a very dangerous situation. It's what you might call a powder keg. And powder kegs are volatile, unstable, and are likely to blow up and do a lot of damage. And we've really got to be aware of that circumstance. So the title of this episode and the theme of this episode is that we have a choice. And as far as I can tell, this is an either or. There is almost no having both. Maybe there's a very narrow line where you can have both. But we have a choice, and that choice is between catharsis and civilization. That's it.
Why can't we have both? I think we can have both because you don't get to define what catharsis is. You don't get to define what is too far, James. You literally don't get to define it. There's a certain point where Trump can very well go after all his people, and from what I've seen on Twitter, he has stacks and mounds of fucking executive fucking orders. And I don't know what the hell is going on now. But I'll tell you this, the thing that scared me is how James decides to put it.
We are going to have to choose as we go forward. Do we want to follow the course of letting those emotions flow and let them lead us until we have emotional satisfaction? In other words, catharsis for all of that frustration, anger, fear, despair that we've felt for years. Do we want a positive catharsis and just flow and go and let the winning become more winning and literally the passion, the libido of winning take us over so that we turn our winning into something toxic? Which is another form of catharsis. Do we want catharsis? Do we want to be led by our emotions to feel better about what we've experienced? Or do we want to maintain civilization? And I don't think we can do both. I honestly don't. I've been thinking about this for a year. I've been meaning to write this or do this podcast for about a year. I haven't figured out when or how to do it. And I finally decided this was the right format. Civilization requires, I think we can all agree on this. The Greeks were aware of this.
I know.
Talk about the Romans because they did something very different, and that's a different path for us that I don't think that we should take. But the Greeks understood. They understood the idea that kind of the functioning person is like a charioteer. So you're a man riding in a chariot with powerful horses pulling you along. The chariot's not very big. It's not very heavy. That's your life. And then the man represents your reason, your capacity to think. And then the horses represent your passions, that emotion that will drag you along. And if you are a person who can put your reason in charge and channel the energy of your passions into productive directions with the reins that you're given, if you can put your reason ahead of your passions and control your passions with your reason, subordinate your passions, subordinate your libido, including the libido dominandi, including the libidos talked about to be freed by Herbert Marcuse and Eros and Civilization, if you can restrain and channel those using your reason, that is the road to civilization. That is the road to productivity. And the founding fathers of the United States would have clearly understood this.
Oh, they would have, because they were fucking Gnostics.
That's a fraught term. It's a difficult term. It would be a 2-hour podcast to untangle that term. So what it means, what it refers to, whether it's good or bad. But at the time, some people have referred to it as the Age of Reason at the late 18th century, and they believed in the importance of reason. But our founding fathers in the United States were no fools. They also understood that human beings are fallible, that human beings are limited, that human beings, if we use a religious terminology, are fallen, then that we're subject to our passions, we're subject to lapses in our reason, that we are not always able to be rational. And they didn't have the modern language that we could use to talk about this, but they understood that in order to build a functioning civilization to the degree that it's possible, reason must restrain the passions. This is, in fact...
Yep, but the problem here is there's a reason for everything, Jimmy. There's a reason to start feeding the black horse and the white horse. We could logically come to the conclusion that going after the SJWs is what we should want, right? We should want to punish our enemies and reward our friends, but at the same time, we have to have a bigger standard, right? We have to have a higher standard. But the thing that really gets me is that I don't know why James is talking about the fucking allegory of the chariot, which is the tripartite soul. For those who need to know what that is, I've been alluding to this here.
Of the nature of the soul and her true form, let me speak briefly and in a figure. Plato claims the existence of two separate worlds. The world of the ideas is the perfect world, where the ideas are eternals, and the truth knowledge resides. The sensible world is an imperfect imitation of the world of the ideas.
It's where anime is not real, but where anime is real is in the world of ideas. This is where the dimensional merge shit comes from with fucking, Christian, right? This is the world where Sanju lives in, and this is the world where he has to actually pay rent and actually avoid tax evasion. Pixelixamy, it can spilt out simpler. Academic is a shorter video, and it's ethos, pathos, and logos. Oh, okay. Let's see. Academic did it shorter, but it's... I don't know about that. I mean, isn't that something completely different when it comes to, sophistry and things like that? That's like rhetoric and whatnot. I've said before, the whole... I already recognize this as the tarot card of the chariot. I mean, I'm going to look at this right here. Freaking Jack Donovan, Mr. Jack Malbranch, everyone's favorite ex-Satanist. Yes, he wasn't a Satanist. He even admitted it. I want to hear what he has to say about this in a second. In fact, let's go to that.
I'd much rather think of my soul.
All right,
in the work of Plato, the soul, the psyche of man, is presented as a chariot. And I think this is a useful model for self-analysis and reflection and meditation.
But the map is not the territory, Jack. The words are not the thing. And no matter how many times you try to fit it into your reality tunnel, you get weird shit. Like, let's say, the black horse is my right brain, and the left horse is the white horse, Or the left brain is my white brain. Yeah, I'm black-brained and white-brained. Academic agent is what I'm referring to. Academic agent. I don't like him. I don't like academics. Period. I don't really like those people. I generally don't like them at all. I mean, they're really honestly just useless idiots. They have sacrificed their utility for something very, very, very specific. And that's dangerous, oftentimes. Like, I can understand if you're like a nuclear, engineer, that makes sense. But, most of the time, you don't need academia. Academics get the bullet, too, in Minecraft and Warzone 3.
It's also a beautiful, powerful, and evocative model. I don't want to think of my soul as a ghost in a cheap sheet. I'd much rather think of my soul as a radiant, golden chariot, pulled by winged and galloping horses, whipped and driven and reined in by a sharp and decisive driver.
Yeah, like Judah Ben-Hur or some shit, right?
It's a magnificent metaphor, and I like the way it works as a concept.
It's like fucking...
Plato introduced this idea in Phaedrus in the context of a discussion about love. Plato said that the gods have two noble horses, but that men have one horse that is noble and of noble origin, and another horse that is ignoble and of ignoble origin. He described love as a divine madness in which you catch a glimpse, a hint of beauty that is eternal in another person. And the noble horse wants to proceed toward that person in the name of beauty and righteousness, so it is easily persuaded by a reasonable charioteer. While the ignoble horse is wild and base and lusty. It wants to rush in recklessly to satisfy its hunger, so it has to be reined in and punished. Love, this divine madness, can only be fruitful and positive if both horses are tamed by logic.
Now, I'm going to have to look this up because he says love, and as a Christian, I know that love is not always love. It really isn't. You know, I love Jack Donovan, but not in the Eros sense. Maybe in the brotherly sense, perhaps. Maybe even like, hey, you're pretty cool. Whatever. You like, I'll buy you a drink. No homo. But at the end of the day, yeah, like, it could be something like that. You could have, like, if you love it so much, why don't you marry it? Because that's the thing that you have to ask yourself. What does he mean by love? It's a real actual question, especially since we know that there are multiple types. I think there are 4 types, I believe, in Greek. Or at least in the Bible, I believe.
Reason. In Plato's Republic, he imagines a perfect city. He expands on this idea of the tripartite soul in a broader sense, as he relates it to the social classes of his utopian city-state.
Oh, fuck.
These 3 parts of the soul and his 3 classes of men are characterized by 3 qualities.
Uh-oh.
Logos.
No.
Reason.
No, the Christ consciousness cucks.
The charioteer. And in the context of Plato's ideal city-state, it represents the class of men who should rule.
Yeah, the Christ
consciousness. Love for wisdom and goodness.
The Christ consciousness cucks. That's what that is. The New Age Christ consciousness cucks. The fucking Jack Murphys of the world.
And truth and right order. The second quality is thumos. You'll also see it as thymos. It's translated as high-spiritedness, masculine emotion. It can either be a righteous anger for justice, or if not reined in by logos, it can lead to fury, unproductive outbursts, and bloodlust.
So fucking dark maga, essentially.
In the context of Plato's ideal city-state, it represents the protective or warrior class, the military and the police, the men who defend and enforce order. And third, appetite. I've seen this portrayed as eros, but it seems to really mean appetite, and we don't want to confuse it and profane the god eros. Appetites are human, and our hungers drive us to work and make money and eat and drink and reproduce. They are absolutely necessary. Pleasure and hunger are good, but appetites unchecked by reason can lead us to vice and dissolution and away from our higher purpose.
So James Lindsay's saying, don't act like a nigger. Don't act like a negro horse. Don't act like Black Beauty or a stallion.
In the context of Plato's ideal city-state, it represents the productive class. Businessmen, craftsmen, farmers. All the people you need to support the other 2 classes, and really even to make them necessary. The productive part of society keeps things going. They perpetuate it. And the productive part of our natures keeps us alive. Plato's utopian city-state was cradle-to-grave totalitarianism. And while he was trying to imagine a society governed by reason, I wouldn't want to live in that society.
No.
It was a cold, Vulcan ideal. A society that censored poets and controlled religion. It would have become stagnant, and like all totalitarian...
I don't think he censored poets. I think he killed them.
...societies, and despite Plato's best intentions, in a few generations it would have descended into tyranny and corruption. But Plato made a lot of valuable and interesting observations about man's nature and his soul. And I think that this tripartite system, this metaphor of the chariot, this chariot of the soul, is a useful tool to examine one's own impulses and check them and rein them in to make sure that you are the driver of your own chariot.
Yeah, so that you follow the chariot arcana, right? And I'm wondering to myself, why the fuck is James Lindsay talking about this shit? Like, he could have just very well talked about this in the context of not just this, but also the tarot in general. And speaking of which, apparently Mark Passio is going to be like releasing another fucking video coming up here soon, and I'm gonna be watching it. I'm gonna review that shit because that's like an 8-hour long stream. That's like a, oh boy, it's a movie night type of spiel. You know, everyone. You know, one of the ways I always used to measure people's intelligence on YouTube is how much content they could put out right now, right? So I've always had back when in the day, like 2014 YouTube or 2016 YouTube, the average content was like 10 minutes. And then you'd have like Lauren Southern and the rest of them come out and say, oh, we're going to make 30-minute videos or 40-minute videos. You'd have Stefan Molyneux, which, by the way, Stefan, get back on YouTube. Stefan, I want to see you out there, man. I want to see Stefan again. and you know, I think from what I understand, he's with Tay Spaghetti, right? So him and Razorfist, which we're gonna get to Razorfist soon. Oh, we're gonna get there. We're gonna hunt down the fucking Drakari witch motherfucker, that dark elf looking Meldomanaean motherfucker. We're gonna get to him. But we're gonna continue with the James Lindsay psychosis, because as much as I like James Lindsay, some of the shit he's a little bit drinking the Kool-Aid a bit too much. He's been listening to Bannon too much. My advice to whoever wants to go out, hear it: try avoiding avoid big public activities, especially in DC after the inauguration. I can't think of many times a huge spontaneous gathering could go worse than on Monday afternoon and evening. Play it safe. It's an easy stage to set. Yes, it is. Yes, it fucking is. Yes, it absolutely is, James. But, you know, why are you concerned about this? Like, leave it alone. Like, you're not gonna... Like, talk to the police. Don't be a Melanie Mac. Contact the police. And here's another one that's interesting. Leftism is summoning spells that they... Leftism does summoning spells. They work because the agitprop is psychologically powerful. No. I do hand disruption, okay? I do hand disruption. And I also do counter magic, and I bounce spells back to the hand. Let's see. Well, the problem with James Lindsay is that he is the equivalent of an occultist who's bad at his own job. He's awful at doing the subversive game. He is. Like, honestly, I think that, the problem here is that, and this is the big one, there's the esoteric, there's the exoteric, and then there's the one that I learned about, my new word of the week is mesoteric. Mesoteric is the practical application of both. You know, one of the people who I used to watch was Jan Irving. He doesn't make videos anymore that I'm aware of. If he is, you know, I gotta look that shit up. But he was discovering, you know, the whole Jordan Peterson all meat diet way before anyone else. You know, there's a lot of knowledge that can be gained through the occult just by, you know, betting on, let's say, the wild horse. No pun intended, by the way. Or I should say the white, is it the black horse? A black horse bet? I don't know. I can't remember if that was considered the term. I'm sure there's a lot of, similarities culturally speaking, because, you know, we all knew Greek originally, right? At least in the West, that's how we learned about the Rosetta Stone, because we could translate Greek, and then we translated from each other, you know, from that. Can Stefan even come back since his channel is terminated? He could probably come back. I mean, just make a new channel. Just make a new channel and upload your stuff. And, you know, there's always that possibility, but, you know, at the same time, are you going to actually, you know, keep it yourself? Are you going to, back stuff up? Because I know that he had his own site, and he actually backed up a lot of his data. The real issue here is how is he going to maintain the data, right? I don't know. I think I'm being a little bit too loud. Give me 1 second. We'll get through this. Yeah, so this is the type of shit that James Lindsay warns us about. The freaking actual... these women are leftists, okay? They're all leftists. They use the occultism as a way to protect themselves and to hide and obfuscate their subversion. Occultists tend to do that, and there's a reason why someone like me likes to point out the tradecraft these cunts use. Because at the end of the day, if you could call it out, you could then grift on them, and then you could just endlessly fucking control them that way. Middle management type of shit. Besides Space Force. Let's see. What's this? This will be fun. Nope. Nope. There we go. Oh, we already saw that one. Let's see what else we got. Okay, let's just get to the fucking chase. Good old V. Monroe. Nope.
Action to it, but then I deleted it. And a lot of people were like, V, why did you delete the post? And the reason I deleted the post is because I realized I was being a cheeky little shit. And I don't want to be a cheeky little shit to Razor Fist. Because I actually like his channel. I agree with a lot of his takes. A lot of his videos, especially on Hollywood and Michael Jackson, were very insightful. And I don't see the point in being a cheeky little shit to him over video games. And maybe the way that I expressed my initial concern in a very mocking tone, a very, very edgy tone, probably didn't hit home. But, I am noticing, you know, like, the culture war taking a different turn. And it's very difficult to reach certain people and understand what's really going on, because a lot of people think that this is about gooning and video game.
It's not about gooning and video games. It really isn't. It's about cultural norms and shit. It really is. Like, Japanese anime, like, there's a theory I have when it comes to Japanese anime. This is just my humble opinion. I think a lot of the reason why these beta male leftists hate Japanese anime is because they tried to become the Bishonen. They legitimately tried to become the Bishonen, and they were trying to basically become like the pretty boy in anime. That's what they were trying to be. It makes sense, right? They were dyeing their hair, they were being effeminate and shit, and they were trying to be that fucking pasty fucking pale guy that everyone likes. They were trying to be Elric of Beltebene. Fuck, I don't know. That's what I think was really going on. And because they didn't live up to it, they started hating that ideal. They hated that K-pop aesthetic, if that makes any sense. He never recovered from that and tried to maneuver into the world of MAGA stuff, but that's the realm of overloaded. I don't know. Honestly, it sucks. It sucks what happened to Stefan. I liked his stuff. I mean, I still have some of his videos even. They're just good quality. Like, they're good rundowns about certain things.
Who the fuck cares, man? Like, if I want to watch pornography, I know where to find pornography.
Yep.
I don't need the permission of some random Twitter evangelists to watch porn.
Well, let me say this about that, okay? There's a little bit of, like, you have to understand who they're marketing this stuff to. Some of this stuff is, like, piss poor marketing. Like, I'll just say it, like, the rating system in the United States is not perfect at all. Like, I think there was a whole documentary at one point about going over the absurdities of the rating system. Like, if you say fuck, like, 3 times, you get demonetized or something like that. By the harder rhetoric. Okay. But I just, why is Razor Fist, why is Razor Fist backing Melanie Mac? Why? Because at the end of the day, I don't think I think they hate the Japanese anime. That's what it boils down to. And one of the things that Japanese anime likes to do is it likes to have safe horny to a certain degree, right? Dead or Alive Extreme Volleyball is the perfect example of this. How many times, just today, I heard about how Dead or Alive, the creator was like taking down porn of Dead or Alive girls, right? Why was he doing it? Well, is it possible because just like with the Overwatch porn censorship, which was about taking, they were ripping from the DVD or the games the physical models and then putting them through pornographic crap, right? There's actual arguments for censorship in that regard because you're like damaging people's. You're ruining the art that was licensed out to you. You violated their copyright to a certain degree because you're actually using the physical heads and stuff like that, right? But again, Razor Fist is like, I honestly think he's gonna have a very red hot fucking YouTube block button soon. Because this motherfucker, he will block the entire planet. I used to love Razor Fist. And I would, even now and then, like, people share a video, I'm like, I'll watch it, whatever. I don't hate them. But at the same time, why would I ever want to watch your videos if you make it so I can't interact with you? I can't donate to you. He literally blocked it to the point where I can't even give the motherfucker money. That's the type of person we're dealing with. And I'm like, what the hell did I say? Like, I actually, feel like, what the fuck did I do? Like, I think I try to, like, reflect, right? I'm trying to reflect on what the hell what I did to him. I'd said nothing. he was basically saying at that point, hey, the internet's not real. Stop complaining about, people being on Kiwi farms. And I think it's all because I said, what, you have a Kiwi farms thread? And then he blocked me. He brought it up. He started the fucking conversation, and he blocked, I guess, everybody in that thread. Because the only way I was able to find out about it, because I thought I was being gaslit. That's one of the reasons I don't like Razorfist, is because he fucking gaslights his fucking fans. And no, again, when there are people who've even made certain rumors, because he's so fucking block happy, that, I won't get into that, but there are rumors that, when people make accusations against you, you just block them. It doesn't make you look innocent, let's just say.
I know where Pornhub is. I know where you can find places where there's ample titillage on the fucking internet. No one cares about video games and pornography, because at the end of the day, you can't even ban it. There's no fucking way you ban it. And even if you ban it, there is a backlog so fucking huge of video games that have pornography that it would take 5 lifetimes to get through it. So, like, no.
Not to mention fucking AI. I kid you not. With AI and generative artificial intelligence, you literally have created R35. If it exists, there's porn of it, and if it doesn't exist, you will make porn of it. I'm no exceptions. R35 exists now.
No one gives a shit about this. And so, like, why are people so upset? Why are people acting like woke individuals, as Razorfist likes to call it? And, maybe I shouldn't make fun of someone's age, but as we grow older, we kind of forget how it was like to be younger.
Yep. And
so, Razorfist, like, I know you listen to a specific type of music. I don't know how it was in the United States, but here in my country, it was considered the music of the devil. It got parents extremely concerned, especially about some of the lyrics.
Yeah.
And I want you to remember how it was like when you were younger and you were with your friends, and some faggot, like Melanie Mac likes to call it, would walk up to you.
Well, she's a faggot herself. I don't trust that bitch. I've even said before with Melanie Mac, we only know about this bitch because Quarter Pounder platformed her when she was being allegedly stalked. And I've uploaded that guy's full video of his upload talking about this bitch, right? I actually have it backed up on my channel, and he had some good points about it. Like, she's literally grifting off of being the pure Christian girl, The main issue with the video games and porn argument that Melanie Mac is going about isn't stuff that even sells to begin with. Like, there's some wave of crap out there. I don't know. I mean, it's not even that it doesn't sell, it's just that I don't like safe horny games. Like, why not just have, flat out porn if you can have flat out porn? I don't like this, like, what the hell is it called? Not EJ. What's it called? Not EG. What the fuck is it called? It's supposed to be like cutesy, whatever the hell it's called. It's like it's a cutesy name, I believe, in Japanese. Not Eero. It's something else. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, it's just supposed to be cutesy stuff. I don't like that stuff. I don't like that type of thing. Oh, look, they're so cute. That type of thing. I'm not into that. Some guys are, but at the same time, I don't like safe horny. Let's see. Melody Mac has tattoo sleeves. That's hard making oddness. Yes, it does. And I'm wondering, why does she get all the tattoos? Like, who is she bleeding for anyway? I've often said if you get a tattoo, it better be for somebody who, like a Marine logo or something like that, or like your unit, or your friends you bled for, right? That makes sense. But, like, why is she bleeding for tribal tattoos that she's not even part of the tribe, right? Maybe because Laura Croft got one and then she got addicted? Honestly, the real debate should be this. Why are so many American Christians in the post-World War II so hesitant just to make more heavenly pleasing artwork and books? Why? Well, I guess the reasoning why is because they've been blocked. In a lot of cases, they've been blocked by the literary industry. Look at Ender's Game, right? Ender's Game, even though the guy himself is, I think, a very much anti-gay guy, I believe, at one point. I know he's conservative. I say he's conservative beliefs because I don't know what he was like pushed over the edge for. I think it was for being anti-gay, I believe, or some stupid shit that like it really doesn't matter. It's not like something that you know people in the 90s would frown upon. Let's just put it that way. But he still gets blackballed from the fucking industry, and a lot of these authors are blackballed. And then at the same time, you have Christians who have simplistic stories about God. Like, keep in mind, it's very hard to make Christian. It's very hard to have like God in a movie or a piece of literature if it's actually God, right? Without it looking like a cheap Deus Ex Machina. The best one I've seen of having a god in a film or with TV series is Battlestar Galactica 2003. But even then, people didn't like that fucking movie. They didn't like it. They didn't like the ending of it, right? Because it's like, oh, it's God who helped them. It just feels like a cop-out, right? And it's very hard to write God into a book. So you have to go for more of a Gnostic, like Shin Megami Tensei type of shit, where everybody, like, you can go kill Thor, you can shoot Thor with an M16 or something like that, right? You want to fight porn and bad art? You're patronized to make art that is better and more spiritually aesthetic. Patronized to keep it funded and then drown out the crap. Yeah, exactly. You could do that. Absolutely. You know? Like, there's a reason why, you know, I like certain artists. Like, I like the whole high fantasy art style. Like, you know, I think it's Death Dealer, I believe. That's art I liked. And again, I like that stuff. But at the same time, I like it when Christianity blends that together. Because Christianity has a lot to offer. The issue here is that, you know, how do you tell Christian stories or out that are, you know, culturally Christian, but at the same time, you know, how can we say this in a way you'd understand? They don't compromise on good and evil. Like I was hearing just today another video that V made where he was talking about how the SJWs hate Faerun. I'm like, why the fuck do they hate Faerun? They hate Faerun because they have demons basically be psychopaths for all intents and purposes. They're psychopathic individuals who will literally lie, cheat, and steal, and they're irredeemable, and the fucking characters flat out say that, and they treat them accordingly. The same reason why the SJWs were back in the fucking bugs. They were back in the goblins, from Goblin Slayer specifically, the ones that will rape you, right? Like, they're hentai villains, basically. Because the SJWs identify with evil. It's very simple. They see themselves as the underdog. They literally are the Satanists of the world. They see Satan as the good guy. For fuck's sake, I mean, they have fucking, you know, what is it, the Devil's Carnival, or the fuck it's called, that's a fucking shitty film. What is it, the fucking Hell of a Boss, right? That's what they have. They identify with that shit. And to them, they see hell as a fucking liberating force. I mean, Dev did his whole shtick about fucking about why does the left identify with evil? Why would we making, you know, Pennywise an ally with the Babadook, right? They identify with evil. It's that simple. They're spiritual shit libs.
And would start shaming and condemning you, like, oh, you're listening to the devil's music. Now, be honest, if that person isn't someone that you look up to, or if that person isn't someone that has some moral authority over you, how likely is it that you tell that person to fuck off and then you'd also make fun of them? Both you and your friends. And you'd probably enjoy doing that, right? Like, it's fun. It's cathartic.
It's
it's
cathartic.
This asshole coming up to you, instead of minding his own business and making fun of your hobbies and telling you, you know, actually, this band is okay to listen to, this band is not okay. Well, the way you need to listen to music, you have to listen it to the right volume, so that, like, shut.
There is a market for this type of stuff. I mean, you have stuff like, let's say, Focus on the Family, and I'll see if I can point that out. Give me 1 second.
The fuck up. Go fuck yourself. How about that? And this is pretty much what's happening. You know, you're saying that you're experiencing woke tactics. There's a lot of people that like video games on the left, on the right, or on various things, and they don't give a single fuck about the ideology. It's called a hobby. It's entertainment. Like, I know that the game journalists like to destroy the gamer identity and shit.
Here's an example. You have, let's say, Focus on the Family, which is, again, it's more of a Christian organization, but they have resources to help people, raise kids and stuff like that. There are instances where you have, like, reviews from a Christian lens, let's say, and maybe there's a market for that. Let them have that. I think that if they put it to market, you could laugh at it all you want, but at the same time, there is a market for the Christian, lens, let's say. But the problem here is these people are saying, we want to get rid of them. This stuff it makes you a goon. You're shaming people. And even then, like, you could laugh at them. I could laugh at them, but I'm not going to shame them. I'm not going to go to them and then fuck with them. I'll make my own place and laugh at the fucking idiots and all their pagans and their silly notions.
But the reality is, like, when I play Street Fighter or when I play video games to relax, I don't fucking care the politics, the nationality of the other faggot that I'm playing with. Like, as long as they're playing games with me, I'm fine. The only thing I care is the skill at their video game. And so this is why you're getting a wide range of tactics. Like, people just generally don't give a fuck. They're going to throw everything they can, including the kitchen sink, at the moral busybodies. And the thing with the moral...
Well, let me just say this about moral busybody stuff, okay? There's a certain level of... I accept that there's a certain level of evil in the world, and I can't control it, right? If you can't control evil in the world, all you can do is not enable it, right? I think I'm gonna have to go to bed soon because these guys are fucking being dicks next door. Any case, what I was gonna say is that you could very well have a system. Like, I already know we can't ban evil. Like, we can, like, only criminalize it. And the problem here is you can't always criminalize stuff. It's a vice. Leave it alone. Don't go near it. Don't buy it. And I do think that there are a certain level of, you got to let them have their side of the internet and let them have the other sides. I don't go to 4chan trying to preach the gospel, let's say. No one does that, right? It's not expected. Like, you can make an argument that going to preaching the gospel in prison makes sense because they're trying to be redeemed, right? There's an assumption of, like, reform. There's, you don't need to go up to people and say, hey, you shouldn't be looking at these anime titties. No one wants to hear that. You're in the wrong area. You're in the wrong crowd. They're there for the anime titties. Even though I personally am not interested in it, I don't buy it.
Busybodies, like, that's another thing. Razor Fist, honestly, you're the only one out of the bunch that I can genuinely say you're not a hypocrite. All the other ones are severely lacking. I mean, don't tell me that the lady with 7 chokers with arms covered in tattoos and her face as if she fell into the makeup bucket is going to lecture strangers on the internet about decency and being anti-degenerates. I mean, if she looked like Vera Dark, she may have the point. But I guarantee to you, you take Melody back and you bring her into a Romanian church, she's going to get the living shit shaved out of her by every single babushka from the entrance to the altar.
Yes,
she would. And then when she walks back...
I mean, she like, I didn't realize how old this bitch was. I actually, when I first saw Melanie Mac, I thought she was like 23. Like 23, like that's cutting very, very good. Like 24 at the oldest, like 22, maybe 19. She looks that way, and it's because of how she has her camera set staged. Like, it makes her look smaller. She looks way smaller on camera than she actually is. There is some trickery going on, and again, hey, if you're going to present yourself to the world, do the best you can. Put yourself the best foot forward, right? But again, she's way older than I am. Way older than I am, apparently. Or she's about 5 years older than I am, apparently, right? That's her, like, she's 39. That's how old she is. Let's see. No, this is not it. 1 second. That was Razor
When
Fap.
you need to listen...
That was Razor Fap. We're gonna get to Razor Fap in a second. Because he decided to come out and do his best freaking Jack Sparrow impersonation. Here we go. Where is it? I guess I didn't copy it. Damn. Oh well.
The music, you have to listen it to the right volume so that, like, shut the fuck up. Go fuck yourself. How about that? And this is pretty much what's happening. You know, you're saying that you're experiencing woke tactics. There's a lot of people that like video games on the left, on the right, or on various...
I'm gonna go on there. I'm gonna have to subscribe to Scribe Scrollers because I have some shit I have some tea I want to say to Razor Fist, because at this point, I mean, there's an argument to be had that it's fetishistic with fucking Melanie Mac at this point. Like, again, go watch the fucking video I re-uploaded of the guy who was allegedly the stalker. Again, just because you're convicted doesn't mean you're innocent. You're guilty. It just means that the system has found you guilty, and the system's pretty damn good at it, right? I really don't trust to think this guy was malicious towards her. I think she was overreactive. Eating butter must be the trick for Melanie. Maybe she's fucking neurotic, dude. Have you ever considered the fact that this is an example of what happens to people when they go on to the fucking high keto diet? They basically become super neurotic and energetic. I mean, I like to keep I'm an omnivore, okay? I'm not a carnivore, I'm an omnivore. And that's out of survival, okay? Like, yeah, you shouldn't eat so much carbs, fine. But you should still have some, right? And again, it's more of the keto or like the not carnivore, the paleo diet. That's what I could go for,
Things that they don't give a single fuck about the ideology. It's called a hobby. It's entertainment. Like, I know that the game journalists like to destroy the gamer identity and shit. But the reality is, like, when I play Street Fighter or when I play video games to relax, I don't fucking care the politics, the nationality of the other faggot that I'm playing with. Like, as long as they're playing games with me, I'm fine. The only thing I care is the skill at their video game. And so this is why you're getting a wide range of tactics. Like, people just generally don't give a fuck. They're going to throw everything they can, including the kitchen sink, at the moral busybodies. And the thing with the moral busybodies, like, that's another thing. Razor Fist, honestly, you're the only one out of the bunch that I can genuinely say you're not a hypocrite.
He blocks people, and he doesn't review half the games he bashes. Like, honestly, there's a lot of shit on Kiwi Farms about fucking Razor Fist. I personally don't have the time to look into it all. But some of the shit is fucking out there, and it's legitimately, like, disgusting. Like, oh my god, you two-faced bastard. Not that he has a bad day or what have you. Everyone has a bad day. I have a bad day. But the shit that they say about him is legitimately scary shit. Okay? Like groomer fist type of crap.
All the other ones are severely lacking. I mean, don't tell me that the lady with 7 chokers with arms covered in tattoos and her face as if she fell into the makeup bucket is going to lecture strangers on the internet about decency and being anti-degenerates. I mean, if she looked like Vera Dark, she may have the point. But I guarantee to you, you take Melanie back and you bring her into a Romanian church, she's going to get the living shit shaved out of her by every single babushka from the entrance to the altar.
Yep.
And then when she walks back, another round of shaming.
Yes.
Because if you want to bring Christianity, fucking bring it properly.
Yeah, don't do this Drakari Christianity, this dark elf Meldabanane Christianity. Elric of Meldabanane did not die for your fucking sins. He killed you. He died so he could feed the fucking Black Blade and nothing more.
Like, I can bring on my channel, like, some Christian women from Romania, and they will start shaming the living shit out of Melanie Mac, and she will be like, oh my god, this is so unfair, this is misogynistic, it's okay, I'll get women to do it.
Yeah. He'll get to babushkas who will spit on Melanie Mac. I bet he fucking would. He probably knows a few babushkas.
And I have the same stance on queers as I do these gooners.
Is this anything pornographic? I would...
Honestly, you are pornographic, Melanie. You have a choker. And again, she's like old. Again, she's 5 years older than me, right? What is 5 years? 5 years is high school. She was like ahead of me in high school. So when I was a freshman, she was a fucking like a very end of the year senior, graduating the same year. That's the type, or like the year before, the school year prior, I should say. So like the last summer. That's what we're dealing with here. And I hate to be the guy who says this, but she reminds me so much of the chicks that I met in high school, but she's older than me, and that's what's so fucking weird. You want to talk about groomer shit, she's catering to a certain type of demographic. Now, I don't know if that demographic was of one generation or another. I mean, keep in mind, we still have fucking J.D. Vance wearing eyeliner as well, right? And he looks very good in it, by the way. But at the same time, this is a specific type of person that she's aiming towards, right? This certain type of aesthetic. This is like boomers with their Flintstones, right? This is a very millennial aesthetic. The goth is a very millennial aesthetic.
I know.
Yes, what you're doing is shameful. Yes, I think this stuff is shameful and I don't want it in my entertainment because it's shameful and it's hurting society.
I mean,
and again, allegedly with the Eve stuff, right? Allegedly. Because every girl wants to be, 18 again, right? So, for all we know, she's bullshitting about her age, and the guy's just too much of a pussy, and he blocks people to the point where we think he actually is a fucking groomer. But because he doesn't address it, because he doesn't want to talk about it, and again, God forbid we believe a woman, it's allegedly. And it's really disgusting shit. And the fact that, even if you ask, hey, what happened to so-and-so? Why are you with this new chick? Right? Blocked. He's very trigger happy with this shit. And it hurts you on your algorithmic promotion. This guy is dangerous. You don't want to be around him, at least for the health of your social media presence.
Dude, have these people played Final Fantasy? The people complaining, have they played Final Fantasy at all? It's disgusting and it's perverted. No, I don't want it.
Okay, then don't buy it, toots.
especially like some of the, Final Fantasy outfits like this get even more revealing.
And let me just say this: those who actually want like the original 8-bit, 16-bit frickin' Final Fantasy, I get you. There's a market for that, and there are people out there. I think it's like Chrono Trigger and fucking I think it's Dragon's Quest at one point. They have the same aesthetic. There's stuff out there that you could actually buy that isn't like fucking the anime version of fucking Final Fantasy, the animeification of fucking Final Fantasy. There's more of the we're gonna play D&D, but it's gonna be a Japanese D. It's gonna be more Record of Lodoss War, less anime, more Record of Lodoss War, as opposed to, or more anime of Record of Lodoss War and less of, I don't know, Danganronpa, let's say. I don't know, Chad.
It's art. Do I think that people participating in these activities are losers? Yes. It's not even pornographic at all. I don't see the problem. But you know what? It doesn't mean you have to always be a loser. And
A loser. I love how they say the word losers. I'm thinking to myself, okay, fine. You don't have to be a fucking pot-smoking hippie who's fucking vapes for a living. I mean, there you go.
And then you have the other chucklehead on top of you, who's selling a loot comic book that's more loot than the fucking game he's complaining about. And for the rest of us, it sounds like a little bit of a grift. It's more like, instead of praising Jesus, it's like trying to take down the competition to sell his product.
Yep.
Which, by the way, I respect the grift. I think that's an excellent...
You gotta be against it, or you're gonna be for it. I'm for it, I'm against it. Well, what is it? We're not gonna tell you. But again, fucking bitch here. You can't reply to this guy. He blocks people. And again, PPP even brought this up. And I'll tell you this, between, the Birdman of fucking Amsterdam and his, little fucking, rustling of feathers with Galadriel, and allegedly the kid, I don't even know if it's the kid is his or not. Supposedly it is. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. And I don't really care. I just care about the kid. But now you piss off PPP and Worski. And now they're going to bring fucking Racer Fap to the fucking justice, hopefully. Because here's the thing. I only know about Melanie Mack as a direct result of, again, quartering, bringing her up, and white knighting for her because she was allegedly stalked. Which, again, horrible if it happened. Don't put that shit on TV or on blast on Twitter. Go to the police. Do it to the proper channels. We're not your personal army because we don't have any power. And you want to get people who are actually doing criminal behavior, get them caught.
Way of grifting. I really appreciate it, but I'm trying to explain why people are using these woke tactics. It's not because people don't like Christianity. But it's the type of thing they genuinely don't believe that you embrace the Christian lifestyle. It's more like you're having the Christian aesthetic in order to get to do shit that you want.
You're basically Ghost.
I want to sell a lewd comic book. I'm going to pretend to be a Christian. Is this how it's done, by the way? Because if that's the case, I can be a Christian as well. I'm a Christian too. From now on, I'm a born-again Christian. Everything that I did up until now, you guys can't talk about it. That's how...
No, you're an antinomian if that's the case. You're an antinomian. And if we're going to keep an eye on you, you're going to get put in quarantine until then. Same thing with fucking, this... I don't know what the hell he is. I guess an Italian? I don't know if he's... Given Razorfist's fucking mustache here, I think he is an Italian.
Very much out of character again. And
no, you're fucking in character, Captain Jack.
And I wanted to read something for you. It's by A.W. Tozer. It's called The Radical Cross. If you don't...
I'm going to look into this book also because I don't know who the fuck A.W. Tozer is.
Read A.W. Tozer, you're doing everything wrong. Also...
Oh, am I? Is he a Catholic? I could play the Catholic card, and I have exclusive rights, baby boy. I could play that, but we're going to play it nice, and we're going to say that Protestantism counts too.
Sorry about the Blade Runner lighting. I promise there's not a giant holographic chick in front of me, and I'm not crying in the rain. So, it basically goes, the world seems to possess a real genius for being wrong, even the educated world. We might just let that pass and go...
You pretentious piece of shit.
Fishing. Except we Christians happen to be living in the world and have an obligation to try to be right in everything, all the time. We cannot afford to be wrong. I can see how a right man might live in a wrong world and not be much affected by it, except the world will not let him alone. It wants to educate, reform him. It's forever coming up with some new idea, which, by the way, is usually an old idea, dusted off and shined up for the occasion, and demanding that everyone, including said right man, conform on pain of deep-seated frustration or a horrible complex of some kind. Society.
He is so fucking pretentious, my god. He still has a Tumblr, too, apparently. And don't get me wrong, I like Tumblr. I like the idea of what it was. It was like a natural evolution of MySpace, right? And from a site perspective. But, again, I would never be caught with a Tumblr ever. Because of what Tumblr is. It's like having a fucking Grindr, or having a fucking OnlyFans, or having a fucking... even a, what was it? What's the straight one? The fuck is it called? Only Fools or Hookup, or I don't even know what the fuck it's called. I'm too fucking tired for this shit. But in generally speaking, people are saying there's going to be another satanic panic and whatnot. It's not. That's a marketing gimmick, and they like to market off of that also. It's a grift in itself. It's like the slasher genre. There's horror, and then there's the slasher genre. The satanic panic is a fucking marketing gimmick.
Being fluid usually moves like the wind, going all out in one direction until the novelty wears off or there's a war or depression. Then the breeze sets the other way and everyone's supposed to go along with it without asking too many questions, though this constant change of direction should certainly cause the thoughtful soul to wonder whether anyone really knows what all the excitement's about after all. Right now,
fucking
the Zephyrs are blowing in the direction of social integration, sometimes called
He reminds me so much of a friend of mine from back in California. Sir Reginald the Monster Hunter. He probably has the same fucking, body type. They both were like skinny pencil fucking motherfuckers.
Social adjustment. In the interest of historical context, this sermon, or whatever, devotional, was written around the time of LBJ's Socialist Great Society programs. So
it's probably a fucking, more than likely, a Protestant thing. And that's just me going off of shooting from the hip here.
Tozer continues. According to this notion, society is possessed of a norm, a sort of best of all possible model, after which we must all pattern ourselves if we want to escape sundry psychosomatic disorders or emotional upsets. The only safety for any of us is in becoming so well adjusted to the other members of society as to reduce the nervous and mental friction to a minimum. Education, therefore, should first of all teach adjustment to society. Brace for a red pill about the education system here. Whatever people happen to be interested in at the moment must be accepted as normal, and any nonconformity on the part of anyone is bad for the individual and harmful to society.
What does this have to do with video games?
Our highest ambition should be to become integrated to the mass, to lose our moral individuality in the whole. However absurd this may appear when thus stated baldly, it is nevertheless a fair description of...
You're just simping because you want to get in her pants. And you know what? I respect the grift, buddy. I truly respect the grift. You might be good for each other too. Who knows? I really don't want to be near that chick. Like, she's dangerous to someone like me, you know. And as a direct result of that, I would be very, very much just no, not interested. BPD, be gone.
The most popular brand of philosophy now engaging the attention of society. So many and so efficient are the media mass communication that when the Brahmins of the educational world decide it's time for the winds to change, the common people quickly get the drift and swing obediently into the breeze. Anyone who resists is a killjoy, a spoil sport, to say nothing of being old-fashioned and dogmatic. Well, if to escape the charge of being dogmatic I must accept the changing dogmas of the masses, then I am willing to be known as a dogmatist and no holds barred. We who call ourselves Christians are supposed to be a people apart. We claim to have repudiated the wisdom of the world.
Then go be apart and get the hell out of here, or my face. No, seriously, like, there really is, like, again, make your own games, make your own content. This is something that could be done. I mean, didn't they have, like, Dante's Inferno, like, actually, like, a PS3 game? Bring that back. Or is he going to bitch and complain that Cleopatra has like, titties in that, and that Satan quite literally has a goat's cock in it? I'm not joking. There's actually there. Go fucking look it up. It's there. Holy shit, it's there.
And adopted the wisdom of the cross as the guide of our lives. We've thrown in our lot with that one who, while he lived on earth, was the most unadjusted of sons of men. He would not be integrated into society. He stood above it and condemned it by withdrawing from it even while dying for it. Die for it he would, but surrender to it he would not.
This sounds very similar to liberation theology.
The wisdom of the cross is repudiation of the world's norm. Christ, not society, becomes the pattern of the Christian life. The believer seeks adjustment not to the world, but to the will of God. And just to the degree that he is integrated into the heart of Christ, is he out of adjustment with fallen human society. The Christian sees the world as a sinking ship from which he escapes not by integration, but by abandonment. A new moral power will flow back into the church when we stop preaching social adjustment and begin to preach social repudiation and cross-carrying. Modern Christians hope to save the world by being like it, but it's a stillborn endeavor. The church's power over the world springs out of her unlikeness to it, never from her integration into it. All right, so that...
Yeah. We get you. We understand. You want to get the mac and cheese. I gotcha.
That was A.W. Tozer. I highly recommend it. And yeah, this is most certainly not Razor Fist, but Godspeed.
That's false consciousness, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely is. And I'm gonna have to look into it. I'm gonna have to look into A.W. Tozer. I want to know if is he a Catholic or a Protestant? Because if he's a Protestant, I could just say, "Oh, you're not a Christian. Bye-bye." And oh, by the way, Antinomian, you're going to have to start acknowledging that, one, don't buy it. This is very simple. There's many vices out there. You don't have to be a part of it. But at the same time, you don't like the fact that it's all over the place. Well, guess what? You start with yourself first. And I don't think you should be going around talking shit. Because I already know the fact that if you prevent these people from going to market, you will inevitably create a system that could very well fuck everyone else over. So let the motherfucking junkies push their junkie shit and let the Christians sell their Bibles. All the same, right? That's the best way I could describe it. Yes, you can have an opinion, and guess what? You're getting your opinion shoved in. And that's just the way it goes, because people are sick of it. They're sick and tired of having people alter their shit. Don't like it, don't buy it. There's plenty of games I don't like buying.
It works, right? And I get to start morally condemning people on the internet.
Or playing, for that matter.
Yeah, I condemn Mr. Aaron for his comic book. A shameful display. It's not Christian. Jesus wouldn't read it, by the way. I condemn Melanie Mac for the way she dresses. Jesus wouldn't approve. And you know what? I also condemn you for your taste in music. How about that? I don't like your music. I don't think it's godly. I think it takes away from prayer. So is this the type of behavior that, quote-unquote, we want? Like, we... And by the way, like, what is the point of all this anyway?
It's to build the marketing demographic so that they can then pander to them and sell stuff to them, like Melania Coin and Trump Coin and Meldobaneian dollars.
Like, how are you going to stop people buying games from Asia exactly? Like, if people...
You'd have to boycott them. You'd have to boycott them. You'd have to try to use some level of market influence to try to pervert the market to make it look the way you want it to look.
Want to buy Nikkei. If people want to buy the last... What are you going to do to prevent them from doing that? The only thing you can do, and that is like a big maybe, because, like, let's be honest, no one on the Twitter community sphere has actual connections to the US government. You don't have lobby groups. You're not investing money into this shit, right? The only thing you could potentially do is, like, maybe somehow convince a Western gaming company to listen to you, right? Like, what do you want? To get Melody Mac as a consultant so that they can tell them the exact correct size of the skirt that Stellar Blade and Lara Croft gets to have. And then you manage to get the Western companies to make Christian games, I suppose. And people are buying games from Asia. What do you do then?
You'd have to boycott them. You'd have to either ban them. You'd have to list them as pornographic. And don't get me wrong, there are certain games that are in Asia that are absolutely fucking pornographic. I think it's called Rape Play, I think it's called. Where you, like, it literally is a rape simulator where you're trying to rape a mother and her daughters. And there's no way to win that game. You will get caught and you will die. But you're not here for the being caught and die. You're here to get to rape a mother and a daughter, right? And it's not very good. It's not a fun game. It really isn't. And there's shit out there. But, you know, again, tell me what you think of this age. Who do you think her this?
Donald Trump is president?
Instant boob shot. And by the way, we all know why women they love their fucking art tees. Why are you wearing a tee that shows your breast toots?
There are two genders.
At least in the English language, I believe. I don't think we have other genders, but be that as, I think, does Latin have the fucking not a gender, where the fuck it is? I can't remember. I know that the Krauts have multiple gendered languages.
Men can't beat up women anymore in the name of sports.
In the name of sports, as opposed to the name of God.
We could say faggot. Donald Trump is president?
Instant boob shot. I don't know. I don't fucking know, chat. What's going on? Not much. I mean, I'm just streaming right now, and I'm probably going to go to bed here in a bit. Because I just finished going through it, and, you know, going through what, you know, where we're going to go forward with this, you know? Anyhow.
Did you not learn anything from the TikTok ban?
Which didn't happen.
The TikTok ban should work, right? Like, you have someone, a person signed a piece of legislation, okay, we're going to ban the shit. It's for the citizens' own good, right? Like, they're going to learn to be better. And then you have so many Americans making their accounts on fucking Red Note, interacting with Chinese people, exposing themselves to Chinese propaganda.
Oh yeah, it's bad.
Did you not learn anything from that? Like, maybe instead of trying to moralize and preach at people, maybe you'd start to try and convince people for a change. Maybe you'd try to start and persuade people that your way of life and the way you behave is wholesome enough for them to try and emulate.
Yeah, and there's an easy way of doing it, and it's not by trying to do what the guy from Korn did. Like these guys are Korn Christians. Give me see if I could get for you. Let's see if I can get it. Smashing the opponents. What is his name? Let's see if I could get this guy's name from Infected Mushrooms. I remember this. He was the lead singer of Korn. Jonathan Davis of Korn. Yeah, this guy. He converted to Christianity. Let's see. Jonathan Davis. Christianity. Here we go. So for those of you who remember Jonathan Davis, the singer of Korn, remember that fucking nu metal shit from way back in the day? He became a Christian. Oh, he's from Bakersfield. Not bad. Badass. But yeah, he became a Christian, and I can remember one of the last songs I remember he was in. He was in an Israeli band called Infected Mushrooms as a singer. Same with Alice Cooper. I just learned tonight. It was decades ago, but still, yeah, exactly. But the thing here is they have to get rid of that aesthetic. They have to do it. There's certain connotations and attachments that are linked to it. But at the same time, there is something to be said about Christianity and antinomianism. And antinomianism is basically this notion that you can still sin and it's okay, and therefore you could basically go on doing the wrong things. You don't have to stop doing drugs. It's okay. Christ died for your sins. Oh ho ho. Oh, you could get drunk and beat your wife and throw her down a flight of stairs. Jesus forgives. You could go on a mass shooting spree. Jesus forgives. That's bullshit. A lot of this stuff is turn away from your sins and follow the Lord. I think for the longest fucking time, Alice Cooper actually fought with alcoholism, and he at one point he gave his life to Christ, and it's a process, but at the same fucking time, there's a certain level of people who say, hey, you're not even changing your aesthetic. Why should we believe you? When Razorfist and Melanie Mac show up in the trad dress, and he's in a business suit, he goes on his own Lex Luthor arc, then we might believe you, right? But not right now. That a lot of people don't want to hear it at the same time because she's not changing. She's not altering her appearance. She's not getting rid of the tattoos or even the choker. I mean, the choker, for fuck's sake, mate. He's a believer in God, but just not organized religion, which is another fucking thing. This is where Protestantism is going to get its ass kicked. And I don't want to be a dick here against Protestants. It's just antinomians are way more common in fucking Protestantism than they are in other, dare I say the term, traditional religions like Orthodox Christianity and Islam. Or, even antinomianism in Islam is okay because you're basically fighting Islam. You're basically going against the scholarly consensus. Antinomianism in Christianity is that you don't have to follow Christ as your Lord. You basically just have to say, hey, thank you for washing away my sins, Christ. Now let me go torture this fucking poor girl. And don't worry, Jesus forgives. It's bullshit. There has to be some level of works. There has to be some level of turning away from your sins. And yes, that could very well be an action on the part of the individual. We're not going to say that somebody who donates more to the church is better than someone who doesn't, but let's not kid ourselves here. There has to be some level of change, because you can't just turn away. You can't have Christ as your Savior and not have Christ as Lord, so to speak. Anyhow, I think I'm going to end it here after I'm done with V's video.
Rather than constantly try to shame and moralize people on the internet that may not even share your values, because at the end of the day, if a Muslim came up to you and started freaking out that you're drinking alcohol and eating pork, you tell them to fuck off. Why? Because you don't share their values. Why do you assume that people from other nations that may not even be from the United States share your Christian values, number one, and number two, even if they do, why do you assume they're the same denomination as you? And why do you assume they're as strict as you, to the point where...
Because Christianity has become a marketing gimmick, and people like this can grift.
They're concerned about lewdness in video games. What if they're like the 90s Christians that are concerned about violence in video games?
Yeah, Stephen Curtis Chapman and the rest of them.
And they don't like your video games because they're too violent. Like, aren't you a little bit psychotic playing video games where people shoot each other and kill each other? What type of Christian mentality is that? Do you think Jesus would have played that?
No. I will say this, though. It depends on the video game. Like, if Jesus would probably play Call of Duty's campaigns, but he would never play like the multiplayer. He'd probably see the multiplayer as fucking pointless. But you know, again, violence by itself is not an issue. It's grotesque violence, and again, that's up to the individual parent to decide for their child. Again, a lot of the stuff I am with Razor Fist on and Melanie Mack on, even to a degree. Just don't buy the stuff. Don't try to boycott it. I mean, how many people? How many of them actually have families that they could actually, you know, micromanage? Because maybe this is just an example of they should hook up and they should just start a family, and that way they can micromanage their own fucking shit. Let them. I think you enjoy watching Gothic videos. I think I might. I think I saw some of her videos, but even then, I'll look into it. There's a lot of stuff I gotta look up tonight. But again, I work today, so you know I'm burning the midnight oil here. Anyhow.
Why should you play GTA? You're playing as a guy that's fighting against the police and shooting cops and shit.
He can shoot the cops.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not going to moralize. Like, obviously, you can do whatever you want. I don't want to press this issue more because it's just like video games and shit. And I generally do like the content that you're putting. This is not a cope. I unironically don't watch that many content creators. And you're one of the few that I do it. I'll still watch you even if you...
He hasn't blocked them yet that I'm aware of. You know that? But I think that before this is through, I think the thing that will probably be, unironically, the thing that starts the Great Meme War 2 will be the assassination of V by the coward Razor Fist with a Mauser 36 in the book depository.
Disagree with me or insult me or whatever the fuck, I don't care. But I'm just hoping that this is a little bit food for thought. Because you're wondering, it's like, why are people using woke tactics against you? And the reality is that most people that fought against the woke, they're not Christian. Because if they were, you would see like a massive resurgence of Christian channels on YouTube, and you would see, you know, Venom Fang X coming back, and you'd see like...
hang on. I disagree with that, because I'm a Christian, and I'm fighting again on not solely on principle, but mostly on the assumption that you can't like legislate away evil, but you don't have to tolerate it. And a lot of the stuff that these people are doing is evil. Yeah, I might be the paladin, and this cheeky little fucking troll might be just a fighter or a wizard or some shit, right? And I think he's more of a bard, to be honest. He's a gypsy troll bard. And it just so happens that I disagree with the Dark Elf and the fucking Succubi. You know, God forbid I believe the Succubi and the Dark Elf are actually converts.
The old Jesus Freak 77, and you know, everyone making a comeback, and everyone would be a Christian. But the reality is that no, like most people fought against the woke because they were preachy, moralizing, arrogant, holier than thou, thinking.
Everyone had their reasons for fighting the woke. It's not, and it's not even that they were holier than thou. It was that they weren't tolerant in a lot of ways. They didn't tolerate certain things. Some people would just go along to get along, and they didn't really say anything about it. But you know, some of the stuff that I've heard from the right wing, like, oh, we can't talk about we could talk about abortion, but we can't talk about like pro-life talking points at the water cooler at work, right? So I'm like, my first thought is, who's willing to talk about pro-life stuff at the water cooler, or even abortion at the water cooler? Who the fuck is talking about that? No one. It's such agitprop. It's made up. You know, a lot of the talking points is because the left will give you stuff, but the right wing won't give you stuff. And now the right might start giving us stuff, which should terrify us all.
That they're speaking on behalf of an entire community, and they embrace the aesthetics of ugliness, where they consider that the male gaze is sinful. everything that was titillating, they considered it pornography. And so, basically, what people are seeing is that, well, if Anita Sarkeesian came up and she was having a Bible and she was considering the male gaze to be sinful, a lot of Melanie Mac fans would be like, oh yes, based queen. The idea of trying to remove sexuality from art is something that I'm pretty sure you're not supporting, but if you do an insight check, you'll see a lot of simps and orbiters and gravitors that are actually forming this mentality, and
they're being manipulated because they think they can get pussy. I mean, this is literally like the equivalent of some dark occult guy saying, oh, I converted. Now I know the dark side. And they basically do the whole Kylo Ren shtick. You know, I could be saved. He's the bad boy. They could, be Han Swallow, so to speak.
I genuinely want Western games to come back. I unironically do. I love the Mass Effect. I love the Dragon Age. I love the Baldur's Gate.
I love the Battlefield.
Games that I grew up with.
I love the Call of Duty.
And if you look at Mass Effect 3 or Mass Effect 2, at some of the characters, they would be considered pornographic by the people you associate with now, because they seem to have changed the definition of what pornography is, to the point that if something titillates the senses, if something like stimulates the senses a little bit, then it gets to be porn, unless people push them back, and then it's not porn, and then it's complicated, and then it's the camera angles and shit. And then game companies need to hire John Del Aros and their friend and pump him filled with cash. Like, pump the cash like a good little pious corporation does to a Christian, right? Like, fill him up with cash so that he can then become the consultant and say, all right, let me see.
Was that supposed to be sexual, V? Are you gonna, like... I don't know, I kind of pay to see that. A fucking troll fucking gang rape some little fucking Melanie Mac looking bitch. And apparently she's not even little. It's just, again, like I said, the camera angles, which I'm surprised at. Like, if you could look at what she looked like prior, there are videos or pictures resurfacing of her and I think the Dorito Pope at one point. Yeah, the actual fucking Dorito Pope. That guy.
Let me see if it's acceptable. Let me check the lewdness of it. How much cash did you give me? I want those games to come back. And if those games aren't coming back, people are going to buy from China. I don't know if you checked the market recently. Maybe you haven't. But if you look at Steam, some of the best-selling games, Wukong, made in China. Path of Exile 2, owned by China.
Yeah, so again, I don't want China to take over in the game industry either. I really don't. And a lot of the reason is because the stuff, they could put fucking spyware on your machine, and I don't trust Chinese spyware. I at least understand that America will give me a chance to sell, a chance to defend myself. China will just throw me in the gulag, and then I'll become a fucking meme.
Marvel Heroes, China. Do you know what they have? They have girls. Razorfist, they have girls, and they have like these massive fat tits that horrify the Christian aesthetic. But they please the consumer. They attract the American wallet. They drive the cash, and you're horrified as you can't do anything about it. You're sitting there, it's like all this cash is flowing to China, to those massive fat titties. Just insanely huge. Do you listen to me? Like, the mammaries and those thunderous thighs. America used to do that in the fucking 90s. China would be ridiculed because they were trying to copy that shit and they just couldn't.
Yep. And the easiest way to do it is to take away Noodle Boy's fucking ability to sell to you, but also make our own stuff that's better. It isn't going to spy on you. I'm looking at you, Call of Duty, and Sony, and all the rest of the shit. But this is what shooters should look like. To give you an idea, that's her fucking arm. That's her arm, I think, circa 2007 years ago. Let's see. 7 years ago, that would have been around 2017, 2018, I'd say.
Gonna be it for me, but I had so much fun. And really quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Roberto and Christine in the back because they made all this magic happen, showing all your tweets, and it was just so awesome. And of course, Jeff, I want to thank you so much.
She is such a look at her hips in this regard. She looks more like this looks like an actual like her age, and her Melanie Mac character that we see now looks way skinnier. I don't know if she's on drugs or what the fuck she's doing.
For having me. I had so
Heroin
much fun.
chic maybe.
Here, Melanie. Hang with us. It was
Dorito
a fun,
Poe.
It was a
Thank you so
it was
much.
a crazy 2 days.
It was.
A lot of games. What
That's
was your
right.
favorite game?
Oh man, Shadow of the Colossus
Yeah?
being remade is just like blowing my mind. And oh, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I know. That
Those
was
two.
that was insane, right? Beyond,
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Absolutely.
That
I was hoping for it, but I didn't quite expect it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I sort of gave up hope, but that was a big, like some big announcements. And the crazy thing is that we've done this for like 2 days.
She even has the fucking earrings, guys. I mean, I don't know about you, but maybe we have to start going after girls with a certain type of earrings and saying anything that's not a diamond ring or what have you. We're gonna have to start, just thought patrolling.
And like E3 isn't even open yet.
Right?
Tomorrow, when like the show floor opens, a lot of these games, like all the PlayStation guys, we have all these demos. So we're gonna check that out. And then tomorrow, streaming continues on YouTube with the E3 Coliseum panels. So a lot of the games will be up there. Jack Black will be on stage, Neil deGrasse Tyson, James Gunn, a lot of people from the entertainment industry coming to celebrate how much they are working on. They press conferences, hundreds of guests of E3 on behalf of Melmac, the entire team, producer Carol Patrick, and the whole crew. Thank you so much for watching.
I don't know. I think she kind of looked better like this. This she looks like a teacher, but this looks like my fucking daughter. This looks like somebody I would have dated in high school. This looks like somebody I would have fucking who would have taught me in high school. I mean, it's night and fucking day. The duality of women, the mother, the maiden, and eventually, the crone. I don't know.
And now you got into a position where America is making all these games that no one wants to buy, and China is just printing money. And so, I mean, I'm not an American, I'm a consumer. I will buy whatever I want, because at the end of the day, it's my money, and if the product is entertaining, I'll fucking buy it. I don't care if it's from America, if it's from China. Right now, I'm playing Path of Exile 2 because Diablo 4 is shit. But if you want to keep this up, if you want to make the argument that, game developers have to be really careful when designing female characters because you don't want to go from base to gooders, sure, you guys keep playing with that and then wonder why everyone is moving towards Asia. France used to be like that. Like, France used to be the central of the cultural world. Like, their theaters were renowned around the world, and then America took over.
Well, because we bombed the hell out. Well, the Nazis kicked their ass in as well, right? I mean, twice the Krauts decided to go full barbarian and start bashing people's heads in. But in any case, that's all, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, take care of one another, be good to one another. Remember, saving the West is a side quest. This is the